Hello everyone, and welcome to my reaction slash manga read along of One Piece episode 1165. I will not be showing the chapter on the screen. You need your own copy. So, I'm using the Shonen Jump app, and the two newest chapters are free. No, the three newest chapters are free. But if you pay $4 or $5, it's not a lot. You get access to a lot of manga and stuff, and it's awesome. At the moment, I'm reading Food Wars, Ichi the Witch, but I'm actually going to put Ichi the Witch on pause for a few weeks just to get a few chapters build up, and then I'll read everything at once. And I once again, for the third time, started to read Jujutsu Kaisen. And every time I get through the prologue, like Jujutsu Kaisen 0, and then I don't read for a few weeks, and then I start again, not a few weeks, maybe more like a few months. And then I start again, and then I'm like, okay, well, I have to start from the first chapter. So let's see, because season 2 is coming up in season 4, season 3, another season is coming up in January, right? So I was thinking I need to revisit some stuff. But I don't know. Anyway, so One Piece chapter 1165 is called Reverberations. Ooh, let's look up what that means. Reverberations, I think, is if you hit something and it reverberates, like when you punch someone in slow motion and then it goes, right? Okay, that's my idea of what it means. But let's look up I might be wrong. I'm not English. Reverberation meaning. Okay, so the official translation is reverberation is the persistence of sound. Oh, sound. It's not. Huh. The reverberation, persistence of sound after the source has stopped, creating an echoing effect from reflections off surfaces. So bouncing in a cave or something. It can also refer to the lasting effects or repercussions of a sudden event, such as political or economic consequences, or how your skin moves after being punched really hard in slow motion. I'm joking. Okay, so it has more to do with sound or political or economic consequences, according to Google. The lingering sound you hear after singing in a large empty room or a shower. In a shower, indeed. So it's an echoing sound. Got it. Let's see if I have an echo in here. Ow! Little bit, yeah. Have a reverberation in here. So the cover story is Beppo sleeping peacefully using Zeus as a pillow. So we have Beppo, we have Zeus, we have a Law. Very, very cute. One day I'm going to have a class for my 4-year-old. And then I'm going to copy all these and I'm just going to say, this is art class. Color, paint, do what you want. And then I'm going to say, because you're doing the lesson, I also have to do the lesson with you. And then I am also going to color in all this. This is so cute. Okay, anyway. Page 1. It starts with Chebek crying, but his eyes are blank because it's his body has been taken over, but his mind is still present. And he says, please, do you hear that too? Yes. So Garp does hear, because last week I remember we were not sure, but here it's confirmed. That sounds like a good lesson plan to me. he is asking just to be killed because he doesn't want to live like this, obviously, because it's not, he's basically possessed. His words, his attitude, and his expression, they're all telling different stories. His words, his attitude, and his expression. So then they clash. All three of them. Ooh, right in the face. Why do they show that twice? That is so hurtful. You see him being punched. You see his foot being moved back. And you see it being punched again. Or still. One time was enough, Oda, but okay. And then their swords clash as well. So he is absolutely taken over here, being pushed to the limit of his body. Like, this reminds me of when, you know, when you kind of get an adrenaline rush, or when people in movies are possessed and then their body, like their head turns around in a way that shouldn't normally be possible. So anyway, they get both blasted back. And doom and screaming is happening all over. Thunder is rumbling. Clouds are being, pulled in? Why does the sky look like that? It's split in half. We have to evacuate before we're all dead. Let's steal the ship and get off this island. What? You mean Rox's ship? You really think he's coming back? This is the end of the Rox pirates. Yeah. Hurry to the shore. What did you say? Vice Admiral Garp? Wait. Is he saying... No, I think he's talking to Garp. What did you say, Vice Admiral Garp? Once you've got every living resident and sailor on board, shove off and get out of here. What's happening on the island, Roger? Once Rayleigh and them get to you, wait off the coast. I will be back. They will. Rox, Roger. I came here intending to arrest you both, but takes his... Ooh, the animation here needs to be like the way that he takes off his jacket, and then Roger too. Yeah, and my plan was to steal Shaki and the treasure and hightail it out of here. Instead, shall we team up for a minute? I have a number of issues with this, but I can't afford to let him run free. And then the fight continues. Hey, Rox! And then he... What is he? What is this? He misses? Wait, no, he swings around. There's Conqueror's Hockey. And then... I can't... Man, everything is so... Okay, wait. Rox lunges forward. Garp jumps out of the way, I think. Yeah. Rox is wearing the black shirt. Roger's wearing the white shirt. So, Garp is above in this panel. And then Roger dashes forward, lifts up, swings. And everything, the falling on top of him. And Garp grabs his foot. Wow, that took me a minute to get through that sequence. That look you've got, the curse. Is there any way to break it? Just wake up! And just more explosions, and it's nice that they thought, like, is there anything we can do to stop this, to break this curse? Just wake up. Faster! Roger's going to keep fighting until we've evacuated the island. That hockey is off the charts. Do you have a spot for me on the ship, I assume? Gloriosa. Listen up, Kaido. So So Gloriosa leaves because now the Rocks Pirates have split up. There is no more Rocks Pirates. They had a common goals and they were together for a short period of time. Actually, everything regarding Rocks happened pretty fast. Like, he showed up, he threatened Emu, he did a bunch of stuff to gain notoriety, and like, everything happened kind of like... And now, splitting up. Gloriosa goes with Gaban, at least for now. Gaban is from the Roger, and then, okay. And that's where her sister is going too, so that makes sense. Is there any way to break it? Oh. Turn the page. Listen up, Kaido. You owe me for the rest of your life. You're gonna make good on that. I see why she wants him to be indebted to her for the rest of their lives. Fat chance, it was finders keepers, Lin Lin, and you lost. Just watch me. I'm going to create a new crew where violence rules all. You think you're hot stuff now? Keep dreaming of the day you beat me. It'll never come. Come on, Lin Lin. Let's get moving. Carry this treasure. Okay, Mr. Groomer, calm down. I'll come and collect one day, and I'll be waiting to crush your spirit. Big Mama's never had a wedding, has she? We didn't see. There's so many years between her being skinny, her having 100 children, and then her going all wedding cakey. We don't know what happened in between there. She had multiple baby daddies, that's all we know. But I do like this kind of face-off between them. I definitely ship them. In a weird way. Mainly because they look good together. It's kind of why never mind. Okay, so... This is Roger getting pushed back. Kabam! Against the rocks. Rocks against rocks. Sorry. Then we see... Ooh, why? This guy does look like Marco. What the hell? You're the one who knocked down that mountain, aren't you, Newgate? Who are you? It looks like your crew is falling apart. The name's Graham, captain of the Polo Pirate. Marco Polo! Is this like Marco's dad? The Polo Pirates. Pologram. Marco Polo. What's a polygram? Polygram? Polygraph. I don't think there's such a thing as a polygram. You didn't get Marco Polo? Cherry! That is so funny. I'm a big fan of yours. Say, you got no ship to go back to, huh? Team up with me instead. Get out of my hair. It flew over your head. Yeah, that happens. There's so much going on, so... Polygram. No, there's no such thing as a polygram. But there is such a thing, according... I searched polygram. And then it gives me other recommendations, like polygamy. Polygam. Polygamous? Polygamist. Not even... Okay. Anyway, so this must be Marco's dad. Hey, where did Newgate go? Don't ask me. What are you doing, dragon? Calm down. No, what are you people doing? Did you know what we were aiding here? Dragon, put them on our ship right now. We have to rescue them. And if anyone argues against it, I will execute him on the spot. So he's kind of like taking extreme measures here so no one can question him at this time. Maybe Marco can resurrect with his fruit. Maybe the fruit can resurrect. I don't know. You won't see it in the... Wait, I'm not reading the chat. Keep your thoughts for after the chapter. So, green tea. So he's taking extreme measures here so that no one argues with him, so that he can just, in this desperate situation, get the refugees, as much refugees off as he can, off the island. This isn't going to end here, dragon. It better not. Rayleigh, Gaban, where are you going? Don't you dare follow us. Take the ship out into the open water and wait. That island will never have existed. Understood? The God Valley incident. S-level, top secret classification. Records of clandestine operations and special hazard pay for Naval Base G11 and Cipher Pole number 6. Which one was that arc that we watched? G7, G10, G12? I don't know. That was so funny. Condioriano. Registry of participants in the human hunt expunged. Site of event, God Valley. Island location, area, population details erased. Number of fatalities, unknown. Oh yes, that was G8, thank you. Garp, did you know about that enormous black monster that the government has? And they call themselves the good guys. I can't believe it either. If you're gonna quit the Navy, join us. Don't be an idiot. If I quit, who's going to watch out for the rank and file? What does that mean, the rank and file? Like everyone else, like the ones being controlled by the Navy, like the masses, not the top brass, the rank and file. That's my first impression. Rank and file. Rank and file refers to the ordinary members of an organization, such as employees or soldiers, as opposed to its leaders or managers. Okay, I was correct. Who's going to start Sword and raise the next generation to not be as corrupt as these bastards? Huh? What? He didn't say that. I just assumed. The God Valley incident. Oh, next page. It all comes down to mass, doesn't it, Garp? Mass? What do you mean? First of all, the color of armament is a power that doesn't yield to devil fruits. And on top of that, I was wreathed in color of the Supreme King. There's no way it couldn't have hurt him. Yeah, but he was guarding with Supreme King too, so they cancel out. Exactly my point. There's no damage unless we surpass that. If it's all down to who wears out first, we'll lose. There's no way to keep up with a monster like that thing. That's what I was trying to say before. Because he's possessed, like, it will do things with your body that your body normally couldn't. So, like, you know, turning your head all the way back, or like your what is this, joints dislocating? Like, have you ever seen possessed things in movies? I haven't. I'm too scared to watch. I can only imagine. I'm pretty sure I've seen things like that drawn before, but that's less traumatizing. But yeah, I've seen like just joints that go the wrong way and like heads that turn around too far and like, ugh. Anyway. So you want to hit him with a critical mass of Supreme King Haki. Exactly. Don't even think about whatever stamina you need after that. In that case, you're saying we don't come back from this alive. No. The next page is so sad. If we can pull this off, all three of us will be down for the count. But if we miss, we're done for. Listen up, Rocks. I don't know what I can say to console you. I don't know what happened to you either. But there's one thing I do recognize. I recognize your sorrow. Don't cry, you idiot. God of Fire. Infinitum. Oh, this is gonna be hard to watch. I wonder whose voice actor they would choose to play Chibik. We should chat about that. One Piece already has all the most awesome, oldest VAs. And when I say oldest, I mean most experienced. And, you know, like the ones that generally play characters like Garp and Borsalino, and, you know, so who's left to play someone like Rocks? God of Fire, Infinitum, Ace, God of Fire, Ace, and his is Infinitum, Explosion. God of Fire, Ace, Infinitum, Explosion. Whoa. And then absolutely obliterated. Holes. The world government attempted to cover up everything that happened here. But the downfall of Rocks D. Chibik and his lawless band of followers, the Rocks Pirates, who wreaked havoc on their era, caused unmistakable reverberations, echo, that shook the very world. Can I drop some SBS info regarding Ace? When? When was it released? Before this? In a volume that hasn't come out yet? Or what? Where? You know why there's a break next week? To mourn. Out of respect. Ace is named after his strongest move. That is so cool. Kenpachi's VA for Rocks. Ooh. He is still active. He has roles in this year. Whoa. He's the Japanese Scott Pilgrim. He's already this guy. Remember that guy? Yeah, that one. Yeah, I forgot his name. Doesn't really matter. So. Oh yeah, now that I know it, I hear it. It's an older SBS regarding the connection between the name Ace and Roger. Okay, you can share that. I was gonna do SBS read-alongs, but that ended. The last volume with the last SBS came out last day 4. The last volume with the last SBS came out last day 4. So Luffy's son is going to be named Gatling. I can see it. Gatling. Hey, Gat. I was just talking to my in real life friend yesterday. I've seen her cry once in the last 6 years, and now I learned that as soon as she sees a picture of Ace or someone mentions him, she starts to cry. Really? You've seen her cry once in 6 years, but if she sees a picture of Ace, she breaks down on the spot. Roger's sword is named Ace, so Roger named his son after his sword. I wanted to make another sword joke, but I won't. You can fill in the gaps for yourself. Now. I want to think. I know this is not. I will read the manga thoughts in the manga chat in a minute or two. But I just quickly want to think, like, what VA? Oh, I knew that. What VA could, because they have to get an older, more experienced VA. You know what I wish I could look up? Browse VAs by age. How do you even do that? No, this is not gonna work. Staff reviews, characters recommendations, browse, characters, browse characters by age. Show me the oldest, most awesome characters. I mean, it's not like Chebek was that old in this flashback, but I can only imagine, like, someone older that can handle. Apparently, the thought that Ace felt unloved makes her sad. The other time I accidentally made her cry in a restaurant by talking about him. Oh my gosh! That is so sad. Every time. Raikage? Ryusui? Do you mean this guy? No, because he's also Kettle. We need to separate the VA. Oh, it's Daria Zackley too. Oh my gosh. Oh no. It could work, but I don't want it. Wait, give me a second. The most awesome older character that I can... Zangetsu is probably already in Bleach, right? I mean, already in One Piece. Like, I can... No, but it doesn't match. Oh, he's this guy. Shiryu. Shoot. But that's not who I was thinking of. The coolest older character that I could... What is the guy from Bleach? The leader? Aha! Yamamoto. Oh, he's not... Oh, he died in 2014. No, rest in peace. This was Masako Nozawa's husband? I hope she has a lot of grandchildren. Oh, he was so good. He would have been good. But... Rox's VA is already confirmed. do I want to look it up? Or do I want to keep Oh, no, you already said the name. I was having fun. You could have said the VA is already predicted, already cast. Do you want to know who it is? Like, be considerate, because you could see I was having fun trying to guess who it might be or who would be good in the role. But now that you told me, now I have to look it up. Hmm? We already heard his voice. When? $1130. Shinshu Fuji. But why does it not show up here? Shin. Fuji. I think during the first initial flashback of God Valley. Can we revisit that, please? From the Kuma backstory. Ohayo. Nice to see you. Gariba. I can't read the rest. Here we go. Shinshu. So 2 U's. So let's see if I know him as anyone else. He is Yaya. Chebek D Rocks. Risotto Nero. Risotto. Shigeki Suwa. Those are the only characters I would know in that. But he's also Gesicht from Pluto. And has other roles as well. So I don't know him. That's going to be interesting. I actually really like that I won't know him. Because the metal guy from JoJo's. I actually really like that I don't know him, because then his voice will be like fresh and new, and I won't associate him with another character. So the voice actor is Shinshu Fuji, born in 1965, August 1st, hometown Tokyo, Japan, and his blood type is O. Imagine him. I wonder if they read the manga. I read recently, someone shared with me and said that Masako Nozawa didn't read Dragon Ball content because she didn't want it to influence her delivery. She wanted it to be more fresh in her mind. So I mean, I guess each voice actor has their own approach. But One Piece is such a big part of a Japanese people's, growing up. I can't imagine them maybe like not reading One Piece at this point. Kaido's VA doesn't read manga. Yeah, but that's Kaido. I thought you were going to hear his work. No, I don't want to do that now. I don't want to hear his work, because then when I watch the anime, it'll be fresh and exciting, and that'll be one of my earlier experiences with him, because I haven't heard him in a lot of shows, almost none. Okay, so let me check here. What did the Discord chat say? Tiago says, congrats Booty. Thanks to you, I'm still left questioning if Chebek is forcing Garp to hear the voice of all things, or if that is all Garp's own potential awakened. Huh? Booty says, in chapter 1115, Law's crew was able to hear Luffy's voice. It looks like if the user can hear the voice of all things, he can also use it in others that can't usually hear it. It's like we could hear his voice even though we're underwater. Oh, I see. Huh. So now we won't really know if Garp can hear. I see. Anyway, moving on. Marco Polo. Nice way to complete the reference of a historical merchant or explorer. I think he can, but unless we see him doing it again, we can't say it's 100% confirmed. That is still assuming the voice of all things, which is still a theory. That's still assuming this is that the voice. Oh my God. I understand what you're trying to say. He's saying we're not sure if this is the voice of all things, but it seems to be implied the same way, right? With the speech bubble and stuff. I feel like Oda would probably make more of an effort to differentiate if it wasn't that. Man, this ball is annoying. Okay. To be fair, it doesn't matter much now whether Chebek forced it, helped awaken it, or whatever. Just that it will be relevant to Luffy. I found this parallel on Luffy and Dragon. There's no question about their blood relation. Was there? There's not much to say about this chapter. It's very much a punch chapter that I enjoyed. I thought he was going to say a punch in the gut chapter because, yeah. It was sweet to see Roger tear up before attacking rocks in the last panel. So here's the comparison. The will of Marco Polo. After Dragon threatens his Marine Squad leader, the leader says, "You won't get away with this, Dragon." To which Dragon responded, "Bring it on." This is the same line that Luffy responded to Spandam after he asked if he wanted the world government as his enemy after burning their flag. Aww. Bring it on. Oh, this is a fan translation because mine didn't say bring it on. Mine said something else. Fan translations are always better. Wait, where is it? No. He says, "This isn't going to end here, Dragon." And then the reply is, "It better not. It better not end here." Like, bring it on. What is your... Yes, Bashir. Is it related to One Piece manga? Doesn't look like much of a pacifist attitude that he supposedly went with before what happened at O'Hara. Huh? I guess he mellowed out for a bit after God Valley. Well, yeah, because I think this was very emotional. His whole world came crashing down around him. And when you're younger and you realize the horror of the world, the true horrors, you feel very impassioned. But as you try and stand up against it, as you try and figure out how can I help the world in a way that is the most lasting, can do the most lasting change, the most real, help. And of course, after many years and he probably had to go through a lot of failures and difficulties establishing the rebel army. I mean, to say he mellowed out is a bit, well, yeah, I mean, obviously. But I don't think it's about mellowing out. I think it's about tempering yourself. Is that the right word? I'm not sure. Tempering yourself can mean controlling your anger, managing your emotion, or strengthening your body. To control your temper, blah, blah. Now it's giving me examples. To control your temper, practice deep breathing, step away from the situation, recognize your triggers, and communicate your feelings calmly. Thank you. what is that? What does that even mean? Danny says, can I ask a question, which is dividing the One Piece community after this chapter? So many One Piece YouTubers getting stick. What is stick? I thought that was the question. Why are you asking me, can you ask a question? You just asked a question. Ask your question. I will then choose if I want to reply to it or not. Hi, Pupinacho. It's a power scaling question. Shanks versus Mihawk. When was the last time we saw Mihawk and Shanks? I know you don't like these, that's why. But then this is more annoying. 3 minutes of waiting for your question when you could just ask and I could say, I don't care, and then move on. Ask your question. Why would the people be divided about Mihawk versus Shanks in this chapter? Were they mentioned? Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. We did see Shanks recently. He was a baby. I guess it's relevant. No, I don't care about power scaling. Unless they're literally fighting in front of me, I'm not gonna pretend to know who might win. So anyway, the last message in the One Piece manga chat on the Discord is, vague idea, I'm contemplating to cancel out Imu's curse. It can be a starting requirement, but Luffy makes them laugh joyfully as the warrior of liberation. Wouldn't that be nice? Booty says, we did not get new information on Shanks versus Mihawk in years, so I don't really know why this is a thing again now. Doji says, it's just because they talked about the system of Haki. Because they said the Conqueror, the King Haki, and the King Haki will cancel each other out, so it's about a matter of mass. Okay, so here's my answer then. Who weighs more? Find out what does Mihawk weigh, and find out what does Shank weigh, and then whoever weighs 0.5 kilograms, not 0.4, it has to be 0.5 or more. Whoever weighs the most will have the mass advantage. And there is your factual, most correct, objective answer. And then, after that, does not need to be a further conversation. I'm joking. I like that. Maintaining the agenda is our top priority. They weigh the same, but Shanks is minus one hand. Well, there you go. Danny says, it's a big debate. I personally don't care. But he cared enough to be the only person to ask here in a channel where he knows I don't even care about power scaling. That's funny. People still think Mihawk doesn't have... I don't even know what COC stands for. Conqueror of Cock? What is COC? You know what I know? I know Devil Fruits, Haki, Conqueror's Haki, and then is Conqueror of King. Is it Clash of Clans? Color of Conqueror? Is it separate? Is Conqueror's Haki, King Haki, Conqueror of King? Where does king come in? Is that separate? The hockey abbreviations always crack me up. Me too. Conqueror of cocks. Sorry. The chickens. Where's your mind, dirty animals? Some people even try to guess how much Roger and Garp's jackets weigh in order to scale who's stronger, like in Dragon Ball when they remove their clothes and they weigh a lot. Ah, must be fun to live in that world. Okay, well, there really isn't that much for me to discuss. Like, I think I can see why power scaling people are very invested after, getting some more information here, and they can have a field day. But as someone who doesn't care, it's not that I don't care, it's just that it's fictional. The one who wins is the one who the author wants to win, the one with the stronger will. That's what most shonen is about. If they're even vaguely in the same realm of strengths, it's just who has the stronger will to win. I don't know if that has anything to do with Conqueror's Hockey or what, but it's just about what Oda wants, or what Stan Lee wants, or what whoever writer wants. So until there's an actual fight and I can see why they're fighting, then I can't really say who I think is gonna win, because it depends. Dio just posted a comment in the manga chat and he said, Polo is gonna die and regenerate because he has the Phoenix Devil Fruit and come back as a 7-year-old Marco. Why a 7-year-old Marco? As Booty says, it's a very action-based chapter, not the best chapter for debate after. Not the best chapter for debate after, to be fair. Camille says, I still don't know why Chebek didn't nullify Imu's curse if he was coated with COC. Because Imu also has COC and he had more mass. At the end of the day, I see no difference between shipping and power scaling. Yes, it depends on what you care about, my friend. Do you know how interests and opinions work? Do you need me to look it up for you? Literally, listen to my words when I said, I can see why people who care about power scaling would have a field day. But for me, who is not interested in it, not much to talk about. So? Were you trying to get you moment? Got you moment? Yes, I also have an agenda to maintain, and it is power scaling doesn't matter. It depends on if you want to have fun with it, go at it. But there's no right or wrong, because at the end of the day, it's about what the author wants to write. There's no objective, like, it's not freaking Jake Paul versus that other boxer. Even then, it's not really about who's stronger. It's probably about who was told to throw the game. But, you know what I mean. Like, in real life, one might be stronger than the other, and, there's only. But, I mean, even in real life, someone could have a bad day. So that's why betting is fun. But do I bet on sports? No, because I'm not interested in it. Do I, however, spend a lot of time talking about anime? Yes, because I'm interested in anime. So you see what I'm trying to get at here. Sports, not interested. Anime, interested. Wrestling is even more fixed than One Piece. Probably. I wouldn't know. I don't watch it. I mentioned it before because some One Piece YouTubers said that I'm not even gonna read the rest because then it's gonna be a whole conversation. Remember when you said the power scaling may be interesting, but it's literally the least interesting part in a story like One Piece. I second that. I didn't remember that I said that, but there you go. Honestly, if we had to talk about something, this morning before my stream, I messaged Booty. This was my message. I know this is so random before the stream, but I still am thinking about why did Emu not look for rocks after that threat? I mean, that was huge. The first time someone got in there, up there to the Holy Land, into Emu's like most inner chambers. And then they just brushed it off like, yeah, the guy barged in here, threatened me, but never was it mentioned that they were looking for him after that. They just kind of like forgot about him and then stumbled upon his hometown. Like, that still baffles my mind. Unless they did look for him, but nothing was said about it. The backstory is good, but the more I think about it, as many chapters as we've had, it's happening really fast. It's jumping from, okay, Rox did this is happening, God Valley, Rox is dead. Because it's not the main story, it's just kind of like giving us more depth to the, actual story. So there's so much that we'll never know, but I can't get that out of my head. Like, why? He threatened him in his in its innermost chambers, and then they didn't. Anyway, I just had to put the thought out here before I get started, because I was worried, because I was thinking about it, and then I was worried that I'd start my stream on a Sunday and then immediately start talking about One Piece when I was supposed to be reacting to Indiana Jones. So I just kind of had to write it out. But see, that's the stuff I'm thinking about. Like, I'm lying awake at night thinking, the fuck does Emu look like? Never in my life have I spent more than 3 minutes thinking, who's stronger, Shanks or Mihawk? Not saying you can't, because I have also spent a lot of time thinking, who would I ship Zoro with? That's the only real question. But no, my answer is, there's no question with Sanji, because it's pudding. But with Zoro, it's a bit more, but no, I have my answer there too. But anyway, my point is, a lot of things fill my mind. Power scaling, not ever. Dragon Ball Z changed that a little bit, but only when it comes to Dragon Ball. Booty says, I think Emu has such a god complex. They didn't even see Chebek as a real threat. I didn't care that much. To be fair, they get rid of him pretty easily. Maybe because they caught him in his hometown. Very, very lucky. If Luffy's luck stats are off the chart, Emu must have some unholy level luck stat. Yes, Hiyori. I don't ship Zoro with Perona. Perona to me is like his little sister. Whereas Hiyori, that's where it's at. But I don't see Zoro ever ending up with anyone. Sanji, I hope, ends up with Pudding. I stopped thinking about Luffy ending up with anyone. But some days I still go back to those early One Piece days where Vivi and Luffy was like. But now I'm just like, yeah, now I see why people just kept saying Luffy and meat, Luffy and meat. You know what also I think about a lot? Eneru. The moon. That shit's interesting. Like, where the hell, when is he gonna come back? That is what keeps me up at night. Dragon Ball actually makes me less interested in power scaling because it has so much escalation that it all becomes pointless as soon as the next arc starts. But you can see from someone who never has seen Dragon Ball and who doesn't ever care about power scaling would care a little in a story like Dragon Ball Z. I'm not saying I did it a lot, but it was fun when it came to things like the Tenkaichi Budokai. Who's gonna beat who? He's chilling with the rats on the moon. What do you mean rats? It's bunnies. Bunnies are on the moon. Pounding mochi. No. Sanji and pudding. Don't blasphemize. It's against the 10 commandments of anime. Do not ship Sanji with anyone but pudding. Commandment number 3. My theory is that Luffy's going to the moon after Elbaf. I hope not. I hope eventually I could see it happen. One Piece could make it happen, but not after Elbaf. That's going to be literally the end of One Piece. And I don't want One Piece to end. Yet. Ever. Ever. Ah, thank you. Okay, so the true agenda is shipping. You mean the best agenda is shipping? I kid. It is, though, I think more important because in the story of One Piece, inherited world is very important, and to inherit world, you need the next generation, and to have the next generation, you need to have ships so that they can make babies. You see, it's very relevant. You see. Sorry, I'll stop. Do you watch some One Piece theory videos? No. I like coming up with my own theories or hearing them here and talking about them, like reacting to them. I don't watch any YouTube videos except how to stretch your neck, how to do squats so that it doesn't hurt your knee. Those are the YouTube videos I watch. Wait, what was I doing? So while you guys, if you have any last questions, I could end the video and we can still like hang out, play some games. It's not too... It's a bit late, but it's not too late. I could stick around for like 20 more minutes, 30. But I need to post One Piece first. So what am I doing here? What was today's chapter called? Episode, not chapter. I already hurt my knee, so I don't need that squat video. There are certain exercises that you can do to strengthen your knee because you don't want it to get worse. My mom and dad, my parents have a friend who is in hospital right now to take something out of his knee and then fill it with something that's like cement so that it doesn't keep getting infected. Because if it keeps getting infected, they need to amputate his leg. So, I mean, I'm just saying, look it up. Knee strengthening exercises for someone who has a hurt knee already. Like, there's a lot of great exercise content on YouTube, and it's all free. And oftentimes it's girls in tights. Like, who needs to pay for Fansly when you have that? I'm joking. On Fansly, you can get Nukitashi reactions. Enaru would probably come out of nowhere. I don't even think anyone from the world government knows he's on the moon. No one knows him. He was in the sky. He didn't have a bounty. That's freaking cool. So he is gonna come out of nowhere. I theorize after Elbaf, Luffy will go to the past and meet Joy Boy? Time travel? Okay, space travel, I can see that. But time travel? Well, we did. Who has that fruit now? Toki's fruit. Wow. That's a good theory. Cherry says, can I just say again that I really appreciate Dragon even more now after seeing the beginning of his journey. Me too. I know that for most people, the character that stood out the most was Rox, and I can fully understand why. But for me, it was probably Dragon, because I was always so much looking forward to him as a character and to finally see, the origins of the rebel army and Luffy's dad, and why he never wanted to even get close to Luffy. I love that. And Kuma. I mean, Kuma has been the VIP of all of Egghead. So I just didn't want to say Kuma again. But because we had Kuma before God Valley. We saw his backstory. But then we got an expansion on God Valley. So if we take Kuma out, then I mean Dragon. But if Kuma is included, obviously Kuma. But Kuma, we got his backstory and stuff. He was the VIP of like all of Egghead. So I was more thinking of after Egghead, after Elbaf, in the God Valley flashback outside of Kuma. But yeah, Kuma. Why is it that the whole world knows that Dragon is Luffy's father, but no one asks who's his mother? I know, right? This is because it's a shonen. No one is shonen that cares about moms is Dragon Ball. I have a theory that Davy Jones was the king of the ancient kingdom and Joy Boy a citizen. Not a Sasuke Naruto situation. That Imu had to take control. But I mean, what do you mean the king? Like of the whole world? Like the king of the world? Because 20 kings united to go against Joy Boy, right? So where does Davy Jones fit in? Was he another king? A 21st king? Okay, so this episode was called The Void Century, a revelation about the sinking world. I'm just going to call this episode The Void Century. Now, a revelation about a sinking world, but it's such a long title, but it's fine. Sorry, I just need to post this. One Piece reaction episode 1149. No. What happened in this episode again? Vegapunk, Egghead, I don't know. I'm not good at tags. But what do I need? Okay, I'm almost done. All my links are join YouTube membership, link with Discord for more reactions. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Mike. Posted. Jolly D Joestar says, my favorite characters in God Valley Flashback: Kuma, Dragon, Rox, Kaido, Roger. That's a good list. Camille says, Joy Boy is a title of a general of an army. Emu is the leader of United Kingdoms. But army of where? Ooh, that's a good one. Sinking World Revelation. Shoot. That was a better title. But now, apparently, I read somewhere that once you post your video, don't change anything. Something about the algorithm. The most advanced kingdom, which was the ancient kingdom versus 20 normal kingdoms. But remember, Joy Boy wanted to share the, what are those big weapons called? I just know today again that we were reminded about that in episode 1149. The ancient weapons, yeah. Apparently, Joy Boy wanted to share the ancient weapons or give it to, I don't know. And then Vegapunk was like, who's evil? Who's good? Why did he want to share such dangerous weapons? But look at what happened with Vegapunk and the Mother Flame. He had it, but he couldn't protect it. Now, it's in the hands of the worst possible people, and no one else can protect themselves from it. Maybe that's why Joy Boy wanted to share the ancient weapon, so that if it's like the nuclear thing, if every country has nuclear power, they can't use it to threaten each other, so it's like a mutual destruction thing. Who was Joy Boy really? He was from the Great Kingdom, but was he the ruler? If not, why was he the main enemy of the 20 kingdoms? Joy Boy was the first pirate, but pirates can be the leaders of a country that is established under the pirate rule. Remember, this is 800 years ago. Everything was different. Oh, shoot. Oh, my thumbnail has a little white line and it's annoying the crap out of me. So now I have to go fix that. I hate it when I do that. Odin wanted to release the ancient weapon in Wano, but Momo decided not to for now. Shoot. Now I have to change it. Or maybe I'll just change it later, because it's not like anyone else is going to notice that, right? It's just me that notices details like that. Ooh, I can see it. But once the red bar is there, then you wouldn't be able to see it anymore. Yeah, that's a really cool picture of him, right? I had to put him on the thumbnail because of how cool he looked in this freaking episode. Danny says, as I mentioned, I have a theory that Davy Jones was a good guy, but got Domiroversi and attacked the other kingdoms. Wouldn't that be a little poignant? Once again, I'm not sure if I'm using that word correctly. Poignant. Oh no, I'm not using that word correctly. I mean, like, it happened to Rox. Would the same thing have happened to Davy Jones? Would that be called like irony, or would it just be like a little, well, that's quite a coincidence. I agree with Funk Hazard, who says, I hope there's more to the story than all the problems coming from Domiroversi. Yeah, I don't want things to be like a golden thread that links characters and their fate. Interesting. But you don't want it to be too literal, too heavy, too repetitive, too, you know? Maybe sharing weapon was a part of the deal between the ancient kingdoms and the 20 kingdoms to keep peace. Maybe. Vegapunk is one to talk about sharing dangerous weapons, but he said his whole video was about, I'm to blame, I'm taking responsibility, I'm a horrible person, I'm responsible for thousands of deaths because of my actions. So I don't really know what you mean with he's one to talk when he literally acknowledges that he made these mistakes. Vegapunk did say it was a clash of ideologies between the 20 families and Joy Boy, not good and evil. But good and evil is always a clash of ideologies. Anyway, it means the same thing. It just depends on which side you're standing, who's good and who's evil. Usually. Like if it's us versus them. So he means, I think, from his perspective, look at it as a clash of ideologies, not just good and evil, because he doesn't know who was right and who was wrong. Like he doesn't have enough information to say to people they were right, they were wrong. So all we can say for now is that it was a clash of ideologies, but a clash of ideologies, I mean, Nazis versus the rest of the world, you could say was a clash of ideologies, but there was clearly, looking back, someone was more right and someone was more wrong. There's actually a very good, we did a very interesting discussion. We had a very interesting discussion in the last episode of My Hero Academia regarding this. About good and evil and right and wrong. It was this video here. My Hero Academia, Season 8, Episode 6. But this is just a reaction. The review is in the pinned comment. And it is an hour and 40 minutes. So there you go. Perona's devil fruit? What do you mean? Where? I don't agree with that. I understand their feeling, but I do like the idea of seeing the devil fruits in a new generation, because this was a long time ago and a lot of people died, and the devil fruits do regenerate, and there's not at the moment an unlimited amount. So that's why they're so coveted and valuable, because they're rare. It doesn't feel rare because we're watching the story where everyone has devil fruits all the time. But it's like in JoJo's. Stand users, or Hamon users, no, stand. They started with Hamon and then it became stand. Okay, stand users are very rare in the world. But when you're watching JoJo's, it doesn't feel rare because they kind of like attract each other. That's more literal though. In One Piece, it's just because everyone at this point in the story will have a bunch of devil fruits because they're the strongest of the strong. So I like... The strong attracts the strong. The devil fruits attract the devil fruits. The stands attract the stands. And there's not an unlimited amount of devil fruits. It's not like with stand users where each stand is very individual. It's about you create your stand. But with One Piece, that's not how it works. The devil fruits are created by, in Vegapunk's theory, collective consciousness's desire for a particular ability or power, and then enough time passes, the devil fruit, maybe it's a particular type of plant that is sensitive to brain waves being sent out into the universe, mixing with the fabric of space and time, and then that vortexual plant takes on the properties of the brain waves of the masses, and then creates a physical representation of the fruit that is then, the more that people see it as well, it'll obviously kind of like repeat. So anyway, that makes sense to me. Camille says devil fruit must be ancient technology. No. Maybe. But I like the idea of quantum physics and people's thoughts bringing the devil fruits into existence. But I guess you could apply quantum physics and make an invention that can manipulate it and then create something like that. But I hope not. I hope it's more natural than that. And when I say natural, I mean literally just a plant that grows. But what if someone invented the plant? I wonder what kind of people desire the tamatama no mi. Well, let's look this up. Weirdest superpowers in comics. You have Man-Eater Lad. What the hell is Man-Eater? Oh, Matter-Eater. Why did I read Man-Eater? He's a man-eater, makes it work. What? I don't want unique. I want weird. So my point is, people want weird things. Why is Harry Styles? What? He acted in something other than Dunkirk? Huh? Man-Eater Lad sounds like the main character of a Wattpad story. Yes. What? Squirrel Girl's rodent control. Flatman's two-dimensional shape-shifting. Maggot's nasty parasite mutation. So like, if people can come up with these kinds of powers in real life, ice cream creation and control. So, some people really love eggs, Cherry. You know what? The Gastons of the world wanted an egg fruit so that they can eat 20 eggs every hour. That makes sense. Protein. Gym junkies wanted the tamago no mi. Squirrel Girl defeated Thanos. That's a top tier power. What? We don't know how the world looks like if 20 Kingdoms lost and Joy Boy won, but somehow I doubt it would be any worse than it is now. Camille says, what I understand from that mural of ancient time is in One Piece, people tried to harness the power of God, imagination, and it gets out of hand, and wild devil fruit users destroy the world, or few strong devil fruits like Nika. I need to look at that more. I think Booty did share it with me. Wait, did I roll? I did not. Let me just quickly roll, and then I'll check the devil fruit. Perona's devil fruit showed up. Oh my gosh, how did I not notice that? There's a theory that Emu ate the devil fruit, the devil fruit. Akuma no mi. Where did we read something about an immortal devil fruit? Or was that Law's devil fruit that could help someone become immortal? Because you could keep transplanting your heart or something. Hey. Okay, wait. Page 9. Wait, that can't be. Page 9 on mine. Oh, I think it's page, I don't know. Page 9 on my side is this page, and I don't see any Perona ghosts. The panel with Stussy. Oh, the one where she says, Hey, where did Newgate go? Oh, there's a Perona looking ghost. That is so funny. I see. Cool. There. Gil Bastat. Bastar? I understand that the 5 elders want to stay immortal and in power, but what does Emu want? What is the point of being the ruler of the world if you have to hide your existence? I think at that point, you are just obsessed with living forever. You don't care, like, I don't know. Who knows what an evil person... Like, why does Mojo Jojo want to rule the world? Why does anyone really want to rule the world? It's, you have to feed people and, like, keep them alive because you don't want to be Lord of the Ashes. So it's tough to understand. It's about, it's an obsession with control and power, and but you know what? All of these things usually boil down to fear. So I think, like, being obsessed with control, being obsessed with power, I think those things boil down to a deep-rooted fear of losing control, of losing power, of someone, taking something that is yours, whether it's your family or whatever. And you become so, I mean, if you think about it that way, Emu is the most frightened character, like, obviously not sympathizing in it, oh, so frightened, so sad. But Emu is the most fearful character, and that kind of aligns with not being seen, being scared of the world, but at the same time controlling it from the shadows. But I think all negative emotions boil down to fear. Like, that would be at the root if you could psychoanalyze everyone's negative emotions. Somewhere they'll tell you, why do you feel this? Why do you feel the need to control everything? Somewhere there's like a core memory where they were scared as a 3-year-old. Maybe One Piece is a machine that can turn off devil fruits from respawning. Who do you think is going to be the final villain, Blackbeard or Emu? Haven't we passed that point? Why does there need to be one final villain? Isn't the story a little big for having one final villain? Do you mean like the last person that Luffy fights? Who's going to be the last one? Maybe Blackbeard and Luffy team up to defeat Emu momentarily, and then after that they go back to being rivals to look for the next One Piece. The next, I don't know. A bit off topic because of Gil Bastard. Will you do a read-along for The Wanted, Oda's first short story collection? I want to read Berserk first before I read anything else except One Piece. Except maybe Demon Slayer, because the movie's coming out and I want to watch the movies, but I also want to react to the story. But I watch the movies at the cinema. It's a whole thing. So I don't know. Someday. It's going to be Kobe. He will want to arrest Luffy. There you go. No, I think they'll have a temporary truce. And then they'll meet again on the open seas. And then it's going to end with no. The final fight between Luffy and Blackbeard for Pirate King would be great. That would be my preference. But that's not... Your question was, who is the final villain? Luffy versus Blackbeard for the title of Pirate King is not really the final villain. In that sense, Blackbeard wouldn't be a villain. Just a competitor, a rival, an antagonist to the main characters. I think Blackbeard is a villain, though. That's not the question. The question is, the question was, who will be the last villain? But if they're talking about the final fight between Luffy versus Blackbeard for the title of Pirate King, final rival maybe, final villain, most likely Emu. I don't know. I mean, Light Yagami wanted to rule the world from the shadows too, but at least people knew about Kira. Emu is only known by a small group of people. I wouldn't want to rule like that. Do you know how the world works? We have presidents. Presidents don't really do... they are just a figurehead. Presidents are being like shunned around by someone behind the scenes, and some countries have an idea of who's behind the real, like who's behind the president making his decisions and stuff. Then behind them, there must be someone else. So my point is, we don't know jack shit that goes on in the whole world. It's only makes sense that the one pulling the strings would not make himself known, because if the people rebel, they off a disposable character and then replace him with someone else that can be controlled from afar. So then no one can ever even know who's in charge, so they can never even target this vague idea. That's the smartest way to rule. If you're a villain, a villainous character. Because no one can ever target you because they don't even know you exist. So think about the ants from Bug's Life. Like the grasshoppers were big and strong, and they weren't scared of the ants because they're tiny. But if the ants stood together, they could crush the grasshoppers. But if there was someone controlling the grasshoppers and the grasshoppers were just the figureheads, it wouldn't matter if the ants crushed them, because then that's why he would stay hidden. You see my point? You might not want to rule like that, but he wants to rule like that because he could keep ruling without ever having to face any consequences whenever someone gets, rebelled against. There's a reason why Crocodile and Mihawk are under Buggy, and why Buggy's the face of it all. Sometimes you just need someone with really, a lot of charisma. A handsome face, or a charismatic speech, or, whatever. But I think almost always the one ruling is not the one we see. There are other type of control freaks other than egoists. Egotists, it's easier to keep the leash held if people don't know you have it in your hand. Cherry says Kobe will probably play a big part in reforming the Marines. Yes. In the end. And that reminds me, for the people hating Garp, because he didn't leave the Marines, I hope this chapter shuts them up. Oh. What? You mean they would need to use common sense? Nah. People just want to see a character make big moves and do a lot of things. Otherwise, they're not Sigma or something. They don't understand that in the real world, to make lasting change, it's not the people that, how to say, Rox, look where Rox ended up. Garp is still shaping the future. And I think, in my theory, is he was part of starting Sword, and Sword is going to be integral in taking down Emu. Because you don't take down something like Emu in a few big moves. That was possible. Emu probably wouldn't even be there. But it is. And yeah, we're going to need the multiple forces coming together. And that's why I love the Rebel Army so much. Because they don't just save people, they empower them to save themselves. And eventually, all of that is going to like pool together to take down Emu. So, let me just reply to this. Ohio. Unfortunately, I have to go to bed, work tomorrow. Thank you. Me too. I'm going to go now too. I'm glad you could be here. I hope you can join us again next week. Or at the very least, I would love to hear your thoughts. Like, if you could just jot down some thoughts while reading the chapter and post them later, I would love to hear it. Probably the last chapter with Rox. Any final words? He was different than I imagined, being Blackbeard's dad. I wish I understood a bit more of his motivations behind doing things like, you know, going to the Holy Land, kidnapping someone, and like, I wish I understand his motivations, like why he wanted to make a name for himself. He threatened Emu. He got such a strong, one of the wildest, strongest crews. And he wanted to do so much with it, but he didn't. He couldn't. And that's sad. But, at the very least, the reverberations is something that affects the whole rest of the story. So, you know, crazy stuff. What do you mean? That is the silliest thing I've ever heard. Those who are behind presidents and are rich and powerful people, they can still enjoy their power. Emu can't. What do you mean? Emu is living the otaku dream. He is in a paradise created of his own demise, with a garden with butterflies flying around, laughing at the world, probably watching anime and series, eating all the snacks that he wants, lobster. You don't know what the fuck he's doing. You don't know how much he's enjoying his life. Don't be silly. Thinking rich and powerful people enjoy their lives. Yeah, that's why they'll get heart attacks at 50 and leave all their shit to their kids that just end up gambling it away. No, I'm joking. For real though, I don't think that those people enjoy their lives as much as I would enjoy my life is if the world didn't know I existed, but I could just walk around in my garden all day, judging people. Like, that seems lovely. Ohayo. For me, it's midnight. I'm going to bed soon. Well, not soon. Maybe like 2 hours from now. Anyway, thank you guys for chatting with me for the last 1 hour, 36 minutes. Actually, 2 hours and 16 minutes if you were here for the chill and chat part as well. As Danny Drinkwater says, Emu controls everything and has other people take the heat for him. That's the best place to be. In the real life, the Glazers. Good luck for the new week, everyone. We have a Monday tomorrow. Apparently not a very nice day. I remember when I was in university, like, I really wanted to change my mind about Mondays. And I started to just, like, plan fun things for Mondays, which is a bit easier when you're a student because you don't have to go to work the next day. Maybe you have, like, 2 or 3 classes. But it's always difficult after a weekend of fun to then have Monday where responsibilities kick in again. But that's why I tried to schedule some fun things for a Monday, like, well, I don't know, go to a hot yoga class or a massage at the end of your difficult day. But definitely try and change your mind about Mondays if you don't like it. Can't start your week on a negative note because I think that makes the rest of the week even more difficult. But yeah, have a good one. Eat your vegetables. Drink water. Do stretches. And read manga. Okay. This was a busy week. And a bit of a rough end there. But that's not related to the streams. I think my favorite thing from the weekend... Ooh. My favorite thing from the weekend... I can't choose. There was so much. I loved Genshin, like just gameplay, running around on Friday. I loved the My Hero Academia discussion. I loved the One Piece manga discussion and everything in between. I am just very thankful that I get to stream and talk about all this interesting stuff for a living, and I hope that you had fun with me for the last few hours or the whole weekend if you were here. And I hope that we get to do it again next week. So thank you, Loliet Visage. I just read that as Visage porn, but it's Palm, so. Hunter, Dark Shadow. I never thought of emu as an otaku. It's a funny thought. The world is ruled by an evil otaku. Maybe. Hikikomori. Modru, Spear, Jolly D, Joestar, Camille, Booty. Ooh, last one. In a rather unrelated comment, I was curious about Misako Nozawa's grandchildren. She has a confirmed daughter, and she said in an interview, it's nice to see the grandchildren growing, so she must have some. Yay! That is so cool. Imagine her kids get to grow up. Her grandkids get to grow up, like, with Dragon Ball Z, and they can know, that's my grandmother. I don't know if they'll know that, and I don't know if that'll change their opinion, but it kind of reminds me, and big spoiler alert for My Hero Academia, I'll try and be vague, but it kind of reminds me of the grandchildren in the last episode where the little girl was saying, I heard this is our grandmother. Let's grow up to be, super siblings, da 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 da. So I wonder if that's kind of, because she's a legend. Imagine having that legend for a grandmother. Okay. Thank you, Odinoko, and everyone. I don't know who I missed out, but if I did, Dark Shadow, Kaigemusha. Kagemusha. And shout out to Cherry who went to sleep, but I'll see you guys next time. Bye.